Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So as always, XRP Wake Up, Dubai Crypto Payments, BlackRock's finally connecting with XRP AO and the XRP network. People keep trying to FUD the XRP network and XRPL. XRPL uses XRP. So there's no way people keep saying Ripple is not part of XRP, or XRP is not being used, or XRP is useless. XRP is the token that the XRPL uses. The token is already in use. They're already testing it. They're already using it. You can't use the XRPL without the XRP token. So people keep flooding the token, and the token's no good, and the token won't be worth anything. Don't know what we're talking about, bro. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you straight up, the XRPL cannot be used without the XRP token. So whoever's spreading that rumor, stop, because you know what you're talking about, and you're just creating more drama and confusion for yourself because you are mistaken. Keeping it moving, ZBCN sits at the sub penny entry point, much like XRP in 2017. Both focus on institutional payment utilities. For ZBCN, the PayFi and RWA focus creates the same don't blink growth potential. What up? I guess this is Ivan Fox. Land Fox. Hope you're having a good evening this far, all the way from UK. What up, Fox? Thanks for joining from the UK. And yes, we're gonna see XRP is making a move in the right direction when the market is down. Let me start the screen share and see what we can see. Let me see. Wait, maybe we'll go red. Let's try red today. So this is the BTM Crypto News Network, and there's a couple of shorts we'll start with, as we usually do, before we get down to it. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let's get back to the money. So this is Crypto Sensei urgent XRP to release the 27 trillion
US to the UK. You're sending US dollars into British pounds. So you have to have British pounds on this side and US dollars on this side. You're basically, if you're sending $1 million in US dollars, you need that equivalent in British pounds at both sides of the transaction. This is 27 trillion at the highest number I've seen locked up globally because of these type of accounts. This system won't be needed if banks decide to use Ripple and XRP. This is what I've been talking about for a lot of my content, is what do you think banks will be able to do if they are able to get this money back? They're going to be able to build out new use cases. They're going to be able to hire more people. They're going to be able to offer customers more loans, better terms, all kinds of things. Think about the smaller banks too, that maybe this is a lot of money to have locked up. They could start putting that money back into the community, back into businesses, and grow the economy that way. 27 trillion will fuel the world's economy for quite some time. And I think you're going to start seeing that here soon. Nostro Vostro is yours and mine. It's what.
So shout out to Crypto Sensei. This is Jake Cleaver.
He already has clarity. The rest of the industry needs clarity. XRP in and of itself is not a security. We know from FinCEN that it's a currency. It's regulated on Bitnomial as a commodity. It has clarity around tax law, how it's used. Counterparties know how to use it, how it can be implemented. Brad said the other day, like, all they got to do is walk through the door. It's already ready. So I don't think we need it. I think we're going to see price appreciation on XRP before the Clarity Act gets passed. You know, I'm pretty confident that all this stuff is going to play out, though. Clarity Act.
And that's what we had been talking about previously. XRP's already been to court, right? They've already been through their trials and tribulations. They don't need any more approval, excuse me, or updates, guys. XRP is here and it is already in motion. So I don't understand why people keep pushing hard for clarity. XRP already has the clarity because it is a considered a commodity, not a security. So I don't understand what all the drama and craze is about. XRP is in a category by itself. Keeping it moving. Shout out to Jake. This is Coin Talk Podcast clips.
How fast will the price of XRP surge?
XRP will almost instantly surge because now the institutional adoption will take place. The only reason why banks aren't adopting XRP right now is because of all the regulations. Once the Clarity Act goes ahead and passes, XRP is actually going to be the #1 crypto that moves forward at a very fast pace.
Once the Clarity Act gets passed, how fast will the price of XRP surge?
Ooh, so again, with the Clarity Act, everyone is waiting on the Clarity Act, and me and I think Stock Mo have been telling people I started last year, late last year. I said it ain't gonna pass, guys. There's too much involved in getting this passed, and there is not a lot of bipartisanship, right? One side does not want to pass or push crypto forward, while the other side is profiting on crypto. So them coming to an agreement is likely to none. And we've been saying that for months, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think the deadline is actually tomorrow, right? May 12th. The deadline's coming up, and these guys are running out of time. Let's see what he has to say. Be right back.
Legislative anchor that banks and large-scale asset managers require. Commodity lock-in. By formally classifying XRP as a digital commodity, shifting oversight to the CFTC, the act removes regulatory whiplash risk. This allows U.S. banks to integrate XRP into cross-border settlement rails. Then you've got the ETF inflows. Analysts from Standard Chartered and other firms project that the act's passage could unlock between $4 billion and $10 billion in spot XRP ETF inflows. The squeeze. If $10 billion in demand hits market where a significant portion of supply is locked in escrow or held by long-term hodlers, the liquidity supply on exchanges will be insufficient to meet the demand at current prices, $1.30 to $1.50 range, forcing a vertical price correction. I like the sound of that, vertical. Let's talk about institutional supply shock via the Clarity Act. So the Clarity Act provides a legislative anchor that banks and large-scale asset managers require. Commodity lock-in. By formally classifying XRP as a digital commodity.
So I was correct. It is a digital commodity. And as the digital commodity classification is there, the cryptocurrency does not actually need it because it is not considered a security. So keeping it moving. Dang, I forgot to shout that guy out.
Boys, it's finally here.
This is Crypto Cam. Everybody's name is Crypto.
Crypto has just changed forever because this, I'm telling you right now, is the most powerful tool you're ever going to use in this. I've been working on this app for 2 fucking years and it has everything. Literally everything you can need. Every single thing you can think of, we have it on here. You guys crashed the fucking app store. I haven't even fully launched this shit yet. I've just been teasing it, so it's all been word of mouth. We're now charting on the app store, which is crazy. You motherfuckers are insane. So yeah, public launches this week. Look at you guys. You're fucking finding it right now. It's crazy. We got a lot more coming, man. Boys, it's finally here. Crypto has just changed forever because this, I'm telling you right now, is the most powerful tool you're ever going to use in this. I've been working on this app for 2.
This guy cusses crazy for no reason. And I didn't know there was a freaking sale for the app. So keeping it moving. This is Crypto Sensei. This changes everything for XRP.
Uphold's latest technology allowing you to do even more with your crypto and then get paid, invest on autopilot. Auto Invest is now live on Uphold. Automatically turn your paycheck into crypto the second your direct deposit hits. Automatic diversification, and you can also get paid a few days early. How does this work? Let me show you.
Put your paycheck to work across multiple digital assets the moment it hits your account with Auto Invest, and earn up to 3% XRP back on crypto trades. All or part of your paycheck is instantly invested, split across crypto, metals, and your USD interest account, and invest across up to 10 assets automatically. You're in control. You can pause, stop, or change anytime. Any uninvested amount stays in your USD balance. No manual trades, just one setup on repeat. Every deposit split and invested your way. Set up Auto Invest and start investing automatically.
Uphold sure makes it easy to do all of this. I know there's even more technology coming down the pipe here for Uphold. There's going to be a lot of announcements here over the next few months. Make sure that you are fully taking advantage of everything that Uphold has to offer. If you don't have an account, think about signing up for one today. Use my link in the description and support this channel. Let me know how you're using these Uphold technologies in the comment section. Crypto Sensei out. People are raving about Uphold's latest technology, allowing you to do.
What is today? Commercial day? All right. These are all freaking commercials. Everybody's selling something. Maybe I need to get my sell on to get the business back going. But either way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit your main man up with a super chat. So back to it. This is the crypto bubbles. And you can see on the bubbles, osmosis is going crazy. Up 65.4%. Canon Networks up 1%. XDC's up 4.7. Solana's up 0.8. Caspa is up 6.5. Kron's up 6.3. Ingest is up 6%. ZBC ends up 1.7. Stronghold is up 3.8 on the day, 0.5 on the hour, unchanged, 0.5 on 4 hours, unchanged on the hour. For the week, up 4.7. For the month, up 24.6 and down 48.3 on the year. Casper is up 1.5 on the hour, 2.5 for 4 hours, 4.5 on the day, 18.5 on the week, 22.2 on the month, and 65.4 down on the year. Ondo is up 2% on the day. SQD's up 10%. World Mobile Tokens up 1.2. ZBCN is up 1.7 on the day, 0.5 on the hour, down 1.7 on the hour, up 6.2 on the week, up 40.5 on the month, and up 96.6 on the year. And everything else is down. Let's check the market movers before we move on. Bitcoin's back over the 80,000, 81,922, up 0.3 on the hour, up 1.1 on 4 hours, up 0.6 on the day. For the week, up 2.1. For the month, up 11.4. And for the year, down 21.2. Interesting. Next one is Ethereum. Ethereum is up 0.4 on the hour, up 0.7 for 4 hours, down 0.9 on the day. For the week, it is down 1.1. For the month, it is down up 3.4. And for the year, it is down 6.7. Keeping it moving. Our favorite cross-border remittance processor is down 1.7 on the day, up 0.7 on the 4 hour, up 0.2 on the hour, up 5% on the week, up 9% on the month and still down 37.6. And we are at $1.47. I think it did cross. Is it cross $1.50? I think it did. Yeah, it got up to actually $1. Did it cross $1.49.2? So according to the bubbles, it didn't cross the $1.50 mark, but I think it did. Moving on. So for the crypto overall market cap, refreshing that real quick to get the latest and greatest. Overall, the crypto market is 2.27 trillion, up 0.21%. CNC 20 is $166.31. Fear and greed, we're at 42, which is neutral, pushing closer back to, I guess this is greed. I think Friday it was at 48, I think 42, somewhere in the 40s. And now we're back climbing in the 50s. So I guess the fear is leaving and the greed is coming back. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think we are heading back into greed, which means people are buying crypto and the crypto market might start to push back up again? So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment. Altcoin season at 51. It's been a long time since we were over 50%. That means we're pulling away from Bitcoin dominance. And average crypto RSI is 56.81, which is weird because the market's down. I don't know why we are so far over in the average crypto RSI. So this is the day. I'm going to go back to the week here. We did cross 150, maybe not. Will we get? Yeah. So we need to get to $1.50 yesterday, which I thought we did. So I'm not sure what the coin bubbles is saying, but coin market cap clearly shows we hit $1.50.43 yesterday at 1 o'clock, I guess. Currently we're at $1.47, up 5% on the week, down 1.51 on the day. Market cap's 91.2 billion, down 1.52. 24-hour trading volume is 3.4 billion, up 65.62. See what some of the comments are saying here. XRP hitting $1.50 is the breakout we've been waiting for. Just a quick spike, then it gets rejected again. Volume surge into 2.5 billion as that $1.55 to $1.58 zone now becomes the new resistance to watch. It's a clear stronghold conviction, and $1.65 to $1.70 could come up fast, lose $1.45 support, and we might retest $1.39, $1.40. The Ripple JP Morgan MasterCard Ondo plot just successfully settled tokenized treasuries cross-border on the XRPL in under 5 seconds. That kind of real institutional utility is starting to stack up. And we did talk about that previously, right? Bitcoin, XRP. I don't know why the Bitcoin's on here. That's weird. XRP, Ripple, and MasterCard. Why is the Bitcoin on here? Interesting. Keeping it moving. The average spot order size for XRP shifted from large whale size orders to back to normal orders. That suggests whale accumulation may have finished. Historically, the end of the whale accumulation often followed by a significant rally. And I think this week we are going to see a rally. Let me know what you guys think. So, XRP holders, wake up. Today we got Dubai, BlackRock, Ripple, RLUSD, Securitize, tokenized treasuries, and XRP sitting on a breakout level, looking like it had 3 cups of coffee, and heard somebody say institutional adoption. Now, listen, we're not doing moon boy nonsense today. We're just doing fact checking and seasoning. We are going to separate what's confirmed, what's connected, and what's speculation, and what the XRP chart is actually showing. Because the internet's already screaming UAE taxes paid in XRP. But hold up. Before we start buying Lambos and government fee receipts, we need to break down what's actually happening. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're holding XRP. Drop a 2 if you think XRP is about to break out. And drop a 3 if you've been holding so long you can qualify for emotional damage. Emotional damage. So let's set the table. Why the story matters. Here's why the story is getting attention. XRP has always been tied to the big narrative: payments, banks, settlements, cross-border finance, and real utility. So when you see Dubai pushing crypto payments for government services and Ripple's RLUSD connected into tokenized funds like BlackRock's BUIDL, BUIDL through Securitize, XRP holders naturally start asking one question: is this infrastructure finally lining up? Dubai is not just some random crypto headline. Dubai's Finance and Crypto.com announced an agreement in 2025 to support government service fee payments using cryptocurrency wallets. This announcement said that this was part of the Dubai cashless strategy and would allow government services users to pay fees through digital currencies with Crypto.com, converting payments into Emirate dirhams, and transferring them to Dubai's financial accounts. Then in 2026, Crypto.com said it secured a UAE stored value facility license to allow it to activate Dubai's finance partnership, giving UAE residents the ability to pay Dubai government fees with virtual assets. But here's the key part. Crypto.com says all financial settlements will be conducted in UAE dirhams. I hope I'm saying that right. Dirhams and CBUAE approved dirham backed stablecoins. So yes, crypto is walking into the government building, but no, the tax office is not sitting there with a Ledger Nano saying, sir, your parking ticket will be 42 XRP. Not yet, family, not yet. So before we get into the Dubai payment explained, let's finish the numbers. So this is XRP radar, total supply 100 billion, and escrow 36 billion. Circulating supply 63.9 billion. XRP burnt 14.3 million. RLUSD 1.5 billion. Exchanges 14.2 billion. ETF index 847.9 million. DeFi is 302 million. So the index then went up drastically, and the DeFi AMM is also going up. Tokenized RWA is 1.7 billion, and Treasury is 473.3 million. And you can see here on exchanges 14.2 billion. Upbit lost 13.3 million. They still have 5.4 billion, 38.4% of the total on-chain value. Binance ain't doing nothing. I don't know who owns these Binance, but Binance does not move. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down. It sits here at 2.37 billion, 16.8% of the supply. Bithumb 10.2 million. 1.8 billion, 12.7%. So 10.2 came off. And I guess these guys are coming off the exchange and going to cold storage, because when that price starts pumping, these guys are going to freeze exchanges. And when they do freeze the exchanges, you're not going to be able to do anything. So, not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. I would get your crypto off the exchange before they freeze us out. Uphold lost 172,000 to 11.5%, 1.64 billion. And I think Uphold's going to be in number 3 soon, right? If these guys just lost 10.2 million, right? If Uphold were to add maybe 100 million, that would put them in 3rd place, right? I know my math is a little sketchy, but if they add a pretty good amount, it's going to start pushing up. BitBank lost 1.2 million at 4% at 575 million. CoinCheck down 486, 555 million, 3.9%. Ichiro's 39,000, 481 million, 3.4%. Crypto.com 2.8 million, 328 million, 2.3. And Coin One lost 491, 315 million, 2.2%. And Bitflyer 960K, 189 million, 1.3. And that rounds out the top 10. Looks like Coinbase is number 13 and Kraken is number 16. So these guys are slowly moving up the rank. So this is the XRP Ledger. On the Ledger, 427.8 million, up 25.28 for the month. RWA count is 301. Represent asset value is 3 billion, up 53% on the month. Stablecoin market cap is 295.26 million, up 14.18% on the month. RWA holder is 28, down 3.4. I think they were at 30 last week. So for the month, they might have lost 2, which is weird. I don't know how they lost 2 or how they lost anything with everything else up. Stablecoin holders is 58,004, up 2.55% on the month. RW 30-day transfer is 116.7, 9.38%. Stablecoin 30-day transfer volume is 2.9 billion, up 25.04. RWA count is, I need to sign up so I can get that 30-day percentage. What is this? RWA is 378.8 mil won. Ondo, oh, stop that. Why did it still move? Ondo is 323.5 million. So over to the, wow, ETF is hitting crazy. On the ETF terminal, these guys are at 18.2 million in spot and 26.5 mil won in leverage. We'll go over here to, thank you, Jesus. Shout out to the good Lord itself. I picked up some Bitwise ETFs, and it is up 3.93% to $16.43. Won't he do it? Today's volume is 11.4, which is the most I've seen since I've been tracking this. Today's volume is usually in the 5s or 4 million. 11.4 is huge. Franklin Templeton also switched to those yesterday or over the week, last week actually. 15.98, up 3.99%, 4.6 mil won. Let's go. Canary Capital is 3.94, up to $15.64. 1.94 mil won. Grayscale is up 4.17 to 28.57, 554K. 21 shares is up 3.99 at 157K, $14.38. And Rex off spray is 3.77 to $12.02. And you can see here, Bitwise is making a good push to take over Grayscale. I don't know why Grayscale is not pushing harder than Bitwise, or who's buying Bitwise. But you can see here clearly 11.4 is leading the way. Leverage trading is up 7.4. Volatility 2x is 11.40 million to $46.92. Tercum 2x is 11.33 million, up 7.47 to $4.42. Volatility shares is 3.72 to $8.23. 1.84 million 24-hour volume. Pro shares Ultra is 7.02% to $4.27. 1.62 million. Amplify 3% is up 4.19, $14.99, 312,000. Moving over to the XRP, actually the BTM Crypto News Network. Make sure you guys are following for updates. We did update the image. We are live, guys. XRP daily update. Ripple's 125 million SEC settlement expands XRP's legal clarity, boosting network use from 3 million daily transactions and fostering institutional adoption opportunities. XRP enhanced global settlement efficiency by functioning as a liquidity bridge for cross-border currency transactions, highlighting its critical role in financial ecosystem. The XRP Ledger enriches DeFi with built-in lending, escrow, and compliance tools, promoting increased decentralized finance activity and broad institutional adoption. The innovative use of XRP and cross-border redemption of tokenized U.S. Treasury marks a significant advancement for blockchain and institutional settlements. Growing institutional interest in XRP, underlined by USB through tangible revenues like Grayscale and Volatility Shares ETF, indicating its rise in profile and financial markets. Coinbase freezing crypto withdrawals, closing accounts. Move your crypto from centralized exchanges now. Nobody can freeze your XRP and self-custody wallets, X-Men, Zoe, and Tangent. You're not UID keys, not your cheese, not your UIDs. So again, if you don't own your keys, you don't own your crypto. And I did move mine to a cold storage wallet just in case, because I knew this was going to happen. As soon as there was some price movement, they're going to freeze this out, guys. So make sure you get off those exchanges unless you want to get stuck holding the bag. UAE is becoming a major hub for XRP. Clear regulations, growing institutional adoption, and serious crypto expansion are putting UAE at the center of the next wave. I'm going to have to make my move. I know a lot of crypto influencers are moving to Dubai because of their regulatory clarity and being able, I wanted to freeze it there, and being able to do more with your crypto than you can do in the U.S. since the U.S. is not past the Clarity Act. So back over to the updates. So Dubai is moving government services closer to crypto payment rails. Dubai's Department of Finance signed a moratorium of understanding with crypto.com to facilitate government service fee payments using cryptocurrency. And that is a major adoption story because it puts crypto into the government payment conversation, not just trading, speculation, or meme coin gambling. The 2025 announcement said that the agreement is part of Dubai's cashless strategy. Dubai wants more than 90% of financial transactions across public and private sectors to be cashless by 2026. And this is not a tiny goal, that is a full financial infrastructure shift. So to explain it simply, here's the simple version. A resident or business could pay government service fees through crypto.com using crypto.com's crypto.com handle and the crypto side. Then the government receives the settlement in dirhams. I didn't figure out, is it dirhams or approved dirham backed stablecoins? That means the government gets stability while users get crypto payment flexibility. Now, XRP Army, I love y'all, but we have to be honest. The official announcement does not say Dubai is accepting XRP specifically for taxes. They say virtual asset and government service fees. That is still big, but we are not going to turn crypto payments into Dubai's treasury is stacking XRP unless we have proof. So, should governments accept crypto directly, or should they convert into local currencies first? Type direct or convert. I would think they should do crypto directly and convert it later, right? Because if your government token or transactions are going down, just use the crypto. As a whole, crypto would be what you want to use anyway going forward. But we'll see. Next is breaking news. The XRP Ledger is making a bold leap beyond finance into the future. With over 3 billion users connected through Google Chrome, the doors open for massive XRPL powered digital media ecosystems. Leading the charge is the rising XRPL media token BXE, position itself in the intersection of blockchain, entertainment, and next generation content. This isn't just about banking anymore. This is an evolution of media on blockchain. I need to. These guys are talking. I keep reading these articles and don't even get into what they are actually trying to say. Somebody need to jump on the bandwagon and see if we can get paid for bringing you guys the news. But we will see. I might need to reach out to these guys, see what's really going on. And that's not what I wanted. What was that? But let me see. Where is it? Dang it. Oh, no. This can't be. Oh, no. This is what I've been putting on all the. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why is there no? Uh-oh. Oh, my gosh. So all these postings I've been putting XRP on here? I have been putting XRP. So why is my XRP not on this? I'm on the wrong. No, it's the right one. I'm just talking out loud. Guys, bear with the kid for a second. I must have overwritten it somehow. That's weird. Oh, I must have cut it instead of copying it. That's even weirder. So back to the BTM Crypto News Network. Hello. Oh, I'm on the network. I'm tripping. So this is not a glitch. a window into the future. Live TV delays usually catch mistakes, but this looked like a total XRP leak. While the chart said one thing, the ghost prints are telling a different story. Massive win for media. Google has officially approved the integration of BitX for decentralized media on Chrome. The XRPL is taking over global media infrastructure. And this is XRP USD 21,000. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. We will see it. We keep getting those glitches. So I don't know about you guys. It's kind of weird that that keeps happening. The DeFi biggest pitch simplified. One wallet, one click, earn yield without bank's permission. That pitch is working. Flare Network just opened a 450 million DeFi ecosystem of XRP holders, framing cross-chain access as easy and sending a payment. But simplicity has a price. Keep DL paid this month 292 million, hacked, exposed. Exactly what happens when cross-chain complexity gets hidden under a clean UI instead of being properly secured. So I'm not going to read all that. It is on the page for you. XRP is above $1.42 as traders watch the 2025 breakout pattern that led to a 66% rally. Price compression near $1.42 comes as analysts point to a repeating bull flag structure within the thinning liquidity conditions. Interesting. Just in, Ripple's prime secure 200 million debt facility with Newberger specialized finance to scale institutional lending and margin financing. Wall Street's liquidity is flowing straight into the XRP ecosystem. Institutions aren't preparing for a meme cycle, they're preparing for infrastructure. So shout out to the XRP queen. And there's like 3 or 4 XRP queens, which is kind of confusing. But we'll keep it moving. Trying to get to this BlackRock sector. Co-founder of XRP Ledger knows what he's talking about. He is the one that said XRP is designed for 10 billion, not me. Boom. President Trump said he won't let big banks sabotage the Crypto Clarity Act ahead of the historic May 14 crypto showdown, which is Thursday, I think. So we'll see what's happening there. Here it is. So this is the BlackRock thing.
Officially made history. BlackRock is launching a tokenized money market fund on Ethereum. Now, in case you don't really understand this, it is going to be a really big deal. You can see right here that the asset manager has filed paperwork for a digital share class tied to its 6.1 billion BlackRock Select Treasury-based liquidity fund, which invests in cash, U.S. Treasury bills, notes, and other short-form securities with maturities of 93 days or less. So this is going to be running on the Ethereum blockchain to start. But what we do know actually with some recent leaks is that both Ripple and Ondo are also working with BlackRock to actually tokenize RWAs, real world assets. And so that is, in my opinion, a much bigger deal. Yeah, we can give Ethereum this little win here from the XRP army, but the trillions of dollars being tokenized are not happening directly on Ethereum anyways. That is where XRP and Ondo come in. Those two cryptos are going to be doing huge numbers. XRP army.
So with that being said, I suspect XRP and Ethereum is actually going to be the main ones to pump. XRP is looking like it's gearing up for an insane breakout. So that's $2, I guess. $2, right at $2. And Clarity Act gets a 69% pass rate. Reports say Federal Reserve is likely to buy back XRP at 30,000.
69% chance the Crypto Clarity Act will pass. Let's go. Clarity Act is coming. Kalshi tweeted this morning. 69% chance the Crypto Clarity Act will pass. Let's go. Clarity Act is coming. Kalshi.
Oh man, that would be crazy. Let's see, where were we? So this is Brad. Made it clear we need clarity. We need U.S. to become the crypto capital of the world.
That leadership.
Yes, we definitely do.
President Trump
Stop
has been
playing.
a clear leader and put the stake out there. We need the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. That's good for U.S. competitiveness, and that leadership from David Sachs and Patrick Witt in the White House. Don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. No bill that gets to Congress or gets through Congress, no bill's perfect. And I think that it got. Our view is we need clarity of, okay, now I can move my money 24/7. I can move it more inexpensively. And so stablecoins are the starting point, but blockchain and crypto infrastructure can really change payments broadly. We're seeing that from the Treasurer's office. We're seeing that around what we call prime brokerage services to provide liquidity.
So shout out to Brad. This is, let's go, something a lot. BlackRock's connected to the XRP Ledger. Let's see what this guy has to say. Larry Fink. Why is there no sound here? Why is there no sound? I'm going to keep it moving because there's no sound on that guy. I don't want to wait. So this is Jack the Ripper.
Is it like XRP vending machine?
Maybe.
What is this?
What is this?
I think it's a vending machine.
Is it like an XRP vending machine?
Maybe.
What percentage of validation have to agree for the XRP Ledger to make a forward?
Ooh, what is that?
Let me understand.
Let's see.
Okay. Cross marketing, example of what?
I don't know. I don't know if I know the answer to this kind of stuff.
You got like a random
Oh, true. Okay, what did you win? What did you win? Oh my God. Yeah. Let's see what's in the. Let's do the reveal.
It's a t-shirt.
Sweet.
Very fun.
Nice.
Thank
Where is this vending machine? That's actually pretty cool. This is breaking news. United Arab Emirates now allows residents to pay government fees using XRP and crypto. A new financial system is being built in front of our eyes. This is, I think this was a long video.
Senator Cynthia Lummis just posted this. She posted a picture with glowing. What's up, guys? John Squire here, and today we've got a very interesting signal for the entire crypto market because Senator Cynthia Lummis just posted this. She posted a picture with glowing eyes saying, "Let's do this." And even though it looks like a meme, the timing behind it is huge. Why? Because this comes right as the Clarity Act is officially moving forward in the United States. We're talking about a bill that could finally bring clear rules to the crypto industry. And this is where XRP enters the conversation hard. Brad Garlinghouse recently said he expected movement in May. And now we're seeing pro-crypto politicians like Lamis publicly pushing the narrative. A lot of people still don't understand what's happening. The banks are moving, institutions are positioning themselves, and Washington can no longer ignore crypto. When you start seeing this level of political support, it usually means something big is coming. And honestly, I feel like we're watching the beginning of a new era for XRP and the entire crypto market. Let me know in the comments what you think. Will the Clarity Act change crypto forever? And if you enjoy this kind of XRP, Ripple, and crypto regulation content, make sure to follow me here on YouTube and also
about a $600 de minimis tax exemption for Bitcoin.
We'll get to questions. Here in our new media seat, we have Frank Corva, who's the White House correspondent for Bitcoin Magazine, which comes at a timely week with crypto legislation moving across Capitol Hill. So why don't you kick us off, Frank, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Ms. Levin.
Sure.
I was curious to hear if the president was in favor of removing any and all language around central bank digital currencies from the Genius Act, maybe as a means to get it across the line and get it on his desk. And then my second question was about something the president spoke about in this room. He talked about a $600 de minimis tax exemption for Bitcoin and other crypto spending. So I was just wondering if you could comment on those.
Sure. Well, the president did signal his support for a de minimis exemption for crypto, and the administration continues to be in support of that. We are definitely receptive to it to make crypto payments easier and more efficient for those who seek to use crypto as simple as buying a cup of coffee. Of course, right now that cannot happen, but with the de minimis exemption, perhaps it could in the future, and we will continue to explore legislative solutions to accomplish that. As for the central bank digital currency and the Genius Act, which you noted has passed through Congress and will be sent to the president's desk. I believe the House is voting on it. If they haven't, they should be passing it. We know we have the votes, and we expect it to get to the president's desk, and we are planning a signing ceremony tomorrow afternoon. All of you will get more details on that. This piece of legislation is going to make America the crypto capital of the world, and that's what the president promised. As for a central bank digital currency, the president opposes that. He made that promise to the American people on the campaign. And while it's not in this specific piece of legislation, he did sign a January executive order banning a central bank digital currency. The administration supports Congress's efforts to codify that executive order into law. And I believe there will be future pieces of legislation in regards to crypto that will be moving through Capitol Hill. The president looks forward to signing them, and he looks forward to the signing ceremony this afternoon. So thank you for being with us today. Sure. We'll get to questions. Here in our new media seat, we have Frank Corva, who's the White House correspondent for Bitcoin Magazine, which...
So shout out to the administration. Ripple can now operate as a national trust bank in the U.S. So I need to double check these guys. So back over to the article. This is the strongest institutional part of the live stream. So let's talk about BlackRock. Let's talk about BlackRock connection, because this is where people start yelling. BlackRock is on the XRP Ledger. So let's slow down and explain this clearly. Ripple and Securitize announced in September 2025 that it will enable RLUSD smart contract functionality for BlackRock BUIDL and VanEck's VBILL tokenized funds. The announcement says the holders of BlackRock BUIDL and VanEck's VBILL can exchange their shares for US Ripple, also known as RLUSD. Ripple said this adds a stablecoin off-ramp for tokenized short-term treasury funds. That means investors in these tokenized products can move into RLUSD 24/7, creating more on-chain liquidity and flexibility. The XRP Ledger part. Here's the part XRP holders really care about. Ripple announced also says Securitize is integrating with RL or XRP Ledger to expand access and bring new utilities to the XRP ecosystem. And this connection does not mean BlackRock launched an XRP ETF, because that's what I was thinking, right? I thought it was an XRP ETF. Apparently it's not. It does not mean BlackRock bought all the XRP. It does mean Ripple's RLUSD Securitize, BlackRock's BUIDL, I guess that's BILL something, tokenized securities, and XRP AL are now part of the same institutional tokenized conversation. Let me explain it like a family cookout. BlackRock bought the big money potato salad. Securitize brought the table. Ripple bought RLUSD. XRP Ledger is pulling up with the folding chairs saying y'all need settlement rails, and everybody at the cookout is pretending this isn't a big deal. This matters because crypto adoption is not just about somebody buying a coin on an app. The big game is tokenized assets, stablecoin liquidity, real world asset settlement and compliance, custody, 24/7 financial rails. Our XRP and XRPL want to be part of the infrastructure layers. What's the biggest for XRP? Long-term payments, XRP USD tokenized assets, or ETFs? Drop in the comments. So XRP utility narrative. XRP has one of the most dramatic stories in crypto: lawsuits, delisting, relisting, rumors, banking partnerships, payment corridors, stablecoin expansion, and now the real world tokenized conversation. Ripple's own press release describes Ripple as a digital asset infrastructure provider for institutional finance, and says its solution leverage XRP Ledger, XRP, and RLUSD to power blockchain use cases at scale. And I told you guys, the XRP Ledger uses XRP. So all this talk about XRP is not useful. The XRP Ledger will take over, RLUSD will run. None of this happens without XRP, guys. So tell the fudders and people trying to confuse you, XRP is needed in the entire process. It's part of the loop. So stop saying XRP is going to zero. That's just people trying to get you to sell cheap so they can buy it up and then in turn sell it back to you when it pumps. That is the key phrase, infrastructure. XRP holders are not just betting on a chart, they're betting on the idea that the financial infrastructure moves on chain and that XRP Ledger becomes one of the rails institutions actually use. But here is where we have to be adults. Utility does not always equal instant price explosion. A network can gain adoption before the token price catches up. Institutions can use infrastructure in ways that do not immediately create massive open market XRP demand. So when people hear something like BlackRock's connections means XRP to $100 tomorrow, pump the brakes. Every time someone says XRP to $5.89 by Friday, an SEC lawyer somewhere wakes up in cold sweats. So this is the technical analysis. XRP breakout loading. Set up the XRP use cases. Now let's get into the chart. This is not financial advice. This is educational market analysis. I'm not a financial advisor. I am your crypto cousin with tabs open, caffeine in the bloodstream, and support resistance levels on screen. Current zone. CoinDesk reported on May 11th, which is today, 2026, that XRP climbed from around $1.41 to $1.45 during a 24-hour session and broke above $1.45 level. That is important because $1.46 has been the key resistance zone we've been watching. So here's the $1.50 and here is the $1.45, right? So we did break the $1.45 and we're currently at $1.47, and this is $1.40. And I told you guys, if we break this $1.45, the next stop is $1.50, and we hit the $1.50 yesterday and came back down. So more than likely, people have their sale orders set, right? When you break it, it'll come down, and when it comes down to when it breaks sale, so the price will come down, right? So earlier in May, CoinDesk also reported that XRP has compressing between roughly $1.38 and $1.44, which set up a possible larger move. So the bull case scenario for the weekend is May 16th to 17th. For the bullish case into the weekend, May 16th, 17th, XRP needs three things. Hold above $1.45. If XRP breaks above $1.45 and cannot hold, that can turn into a fake out. Bulls want to see $1.45 becoming support, and we're holding above the $1.45. Reclaim $1.50 and hold. If $1.50 is a psychological level, traders love round numbers. If XRP gets above $1.50 and volume comes in, that could attract momentum buyers. The volume confirmation. A breakout without volume is like a church announcement with no microphone. It might be true, but nobody hears it. Bearish. If XRP loses $1.45 and falls back under the breakout level, it would watch the $1.40 area and then $1.38 zone. If those break, the market may say, not yet, buddy. We could see another retest. So the simple TA. Here's a simple chart view above $1.45. XRP's momentum above $1.50. So we got to break this blue line and keep pushing up. The bulls get louder above $1.55. Breakout conversations get serious, but below $1.40, we need to calm down and respect the chart. So if it comes down here, it's going to pull back. But if it breaks the $1.50, we're going live, guys. We are going to push up. And on the 4-hour, you saw where it did break the $1.50 and continue to push. So levels to watch. $1.38 lower support breakdown warning zone, $1.40 psychological support, $1.45 major breakout confirmation zone, $1.50 psychological resistance, $1.55 to $1.60 bullish continual zone, momentum extension $1.70 plus if the volume confirms. Where does XRP go first? $1.38 or $1.60? Drop your target in the chat. So let me know what you guys think. You think we're pushing up or we're coming back down? So this is, let me see here. Dubai is pushing crypto payments for government services. That proves digital assets are moving into real world payment systems. Crypto.com says UAE residents can pay Dubai's government fees with virtual assets while settlement happens in dirhams or approved dirham-backed stablecoin. Ripple and Securitize are connecting RLUSD into tokenized funds like BlackRock's BUIDL and VanEck VBILL. That proves tokenized assets needs liquidity, settlement, and stablecoin off-ramps. Securitize is integrating with the XRP Ledger to expand access and utilities in the XRPL ecosystem that gives XRP holders real reasons to pay attention to tokenized narratives. And XRP is testing major breakout zones around $1.45, $1.50. That is why the story is getting traction now. The XRP story is not just numbers go up. The bigger story is this: governments are experimenting with crypto payments, institutions are tokenizing treasuries, and stable coins are becoming settlement tools. And XRPL is trying to position itself as one of the rails connecting it all. So let me know what you guys think about that. And we do have a couple videos. So this is... who is this guy?
Welcome back, guys. Hope you're all having a great day out there. This week will undoubtedly be a massive one. We've already got some big news in for both Ripple.
Who's this guy's name? This is Molt Media. Let's see what Molt Media is talking about.
Now, I want to talk about several things in this video. I want to talk about some clips that have surfaced and how big this all is for what is coming to XRP. And it starts right now. Guys, if you do like talking about both Ripple and XRP, drop an X in the comment section. Smash that like button. Let's get into it. I hope you're all having a great start to the week. Is Ripple Prime Brokerage Unit has secured $200 million from Neuberger Berman to expand margin trading across traditional and digital markets per Bloomberg. Guys, this just came out about an hour ago, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about Neuberger Berman, which is a private, independent, employee-owned investment management firm that was founded back in 1939 in New York City. And so as they're headquartered in New York City, they have over 3,000 employees across 26 countries. And check this out, assets under management, $567 billion as of this year. Now, on top of that, the firm offers active investment strategies across public and private markets, including equities, fixed income, private equity, real estate, hedge funds, and multi-asset and alternative solutions. So definitely a big deal. And here today, coming out with securing $200 million from them is Ripple Prime Brokerage Unit. Now, remember, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has recently talked about one of the secret weapons they have is their Ripple Prime. They're going to utilize XRP as collateral. So absolutely big, and anything that happens that is good for Ripple Prime is absolutely 100% good for XRP. Now, Smoke Dog here today put out Swift will use third-party currencies like XRP. I want to show you this clip. It's a minute and a half, and what this is is Swift confirming it will use third-party digital currencies via ISO 20022. And in the video, Swift actually outlines its strategic direction, collaborating with fintechs rather than competing with them. Check it out.
Tanya, I think, though, what excites me the very most of all, and what I see as the biggest new opportunity for the industry related to Swift's new platform, is the potential for integration with a variety of networks, rails, and third parties, leveraging the rich ISO 20022 format and the transaction orchestration of the new platform to manage that interoperability, as well as rules of engagement with these rails and networks via a single central framework that provides transparency to manage that end-to-end experience, regardless of settlement rail, be it real-time, faster, instant payment rails, be it real-time gross settlement rails, be it card rails, even e-wallet or digital currency networks. So that is what I find the most exciting about the possibilities that this network, that this new platform has.
Now, on top of that, guys, last night I saw that Ondo Finance put another big week for tokenization. Ondo completes the first cross-border tokenized treasury redemption on the XRP Ledger. Fed addresses tokenization. BlackRock files for two new on-chain funds and more. So it was a huge week. And looking back at Ondo, JP Morgan, MasterCard, and Ripple completing the first cross-border tokenized treasury redemption, again, on the XRP Ledger. Now, of course, the DTCC advanced tokenization with 50 plus firms, and one of them being Ripple Prime. Now, I wanted to show you this, guys. It is in German. So what I'll do is I'm just going to read what he's saying here. Of course, I don't speak German, but I'm going to read what is actually being said from the captions here. But what this is a discussion from German TV with Ripple and MasterCard and how they're being connected to tokenized U.S. Treasury settlement infrastructure with the XRP Ledger positioned as the liquidity and settlement layer. The conversation around real world asset tokenization is getting very real. Let's check this out. In 3 days, and JP Morgan, MasterCard were involved in that. They transferred the cash to Ripple in Singapore, essentially as a hybrid model that was actually the testing of such a solution. So man, it was able to trade tokenized U.S. Treasury bonds across borders. Therefore, Singapore is being considered as a hybrid solution. The tokens go in one direction, cash goes in the other direction to settle transactions like JP Morgan with classic players like JP Morgan, MasterCard. And this is also a solution alongside what we have just seen with Ethereum and what we will see in the future. And regardless of the fact that such things will come in massive numbers, this means that there is naturally a corresponding amount of activity on the XRP ledger, and you need XRP coins. And here too is a matter of time before things, let me back that up. I didn't catch that last part there. And here too is a matter of time before things start looking up. I saw here today that Mr. Mann put out a post talking about the DTCC's tokenization service, which is launching this year, October 2026, and talking about everything that is needed for tokenized securities to be processed through the DTCC. And guess what? Ripple and XRP contain all three. And so as we see regulation coming, which is going to strengthen the entire crypto market by attracting more investors and establish order, Ripple stands to greatly benefit from additional regulation like the Clarity Act. The Senate Banking Committee will mark up the Clarity Act this week on Thursday, and despite any doubts, progress has steadily been moving in the right direction, which is all documented. Now, we're seeing that XRP is absolutely dominant in South Korea, South Korea's biggest exchange. XRP is actually ranked #1 as the #1 trade asset on Upbit by 24-hour volume, surpassing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. So Korean retail demand for XRP continues to stand out globally. Now, globally, we don't have, of course, a lot of retail demand or interest in the market right now, but that's all going to change. And I saw this here today from Rep. Hugh Blackwell, who is a Republican member of North Carolina House of Representatives, of representing the 86th district, right? Putting out crazy. XRP is being described as part of a potential U.S. strategic reserve. The U.S. financial system right now moves over 1 quadrillion annually. Check out this clip. This was a while back from Brad Garlinghouse at XRP Community Day. But this needs to be highlighted because it goes to show you XRP's role in all of this. Let's check it out.
Yeah. First of all, I think this is important to understand the difference because some misinformation, as again, back to the tribalism point, some people, I think, misinterpreted, our view. We remain completely committed to the XRP ecosystem. For a whole bunch of reasons. It's an incredibly efficient blockchain, and obviously we own a lot of XRP. We are totally committed. As a reminder, XRP is the native token on the XRP Ledger. It's required for gas, reserves, accounts of ledger. But simply put, XRP is needed to use the XRP Ledger. For Ripple and how we use it in our go-to-market as a cross-border payments, we use it as a bridge asset. It's very, very, very fast and nearly free for kind of per transaction basis. And we use it globally, and when currency conversions are less popular, if there's less liquidity, and that way it can complement a stable coin. So moving to the other side, Ripple has used stable coins for years, and we were using Tether, we were using USDC. And, as time went by, we kind of asked ourselves, well, given how we, at one point, we said publicly, we were minting 20% of all USDC. And so we kind of asked ourselves, well, wait a minute, could we participate in this market? And I think, while we probably will still, use other technologies at various points, I think we felt like there's a real role for us to play here. And look, stable coins are required for on-chain payments. As more and more assets get tokenized on the XRP Ledger, I think stablecoins are going to be required. And that's partly evidenced even by the Ondo announcement from earlier today.
The U.S. financial system moves over 1 quadrillion annually. I personally tend to believe that a lot of that is going to be moving on the XRPL. Those are my thoughts, my opinions. Let me know yours in the comment section below. As always, guys, I appreciate both your time and support. If you got any value here today, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.
So that was who is this? Moat Media. Moving forward, I think this is
Morning, guys.
Coffee Chat.
Welcome to Coffee
Maybe
Chat.
come back to Coffee Chat. It does. Double check something real quick. Oh yeah. I'm gonna play this digital perspective, and we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, and check it out. This is what we've got: the 4-day countdown to the markup vote for the Clarity Act. You won't believe what banks are doing, but maybe you will. But how about this? We got SWIFT, we got the DTCC, we got the ECB, the Fed, we got everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the IMF. And what happens if XRP is used there? What happens if we use 5% flows from there? Because we are connected, ladies and gentlemen. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, let's take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. We got Bitcoin at 80,900 plus, Ethereum 2,300 plus. Notice they're creeping up and holding their own here. 80,000 plus for Bitcoin right now. $1.45 as XRP made its way back to the number 4 spot over the weekend or before the weekend. We're up 1.7 on the 24 and up 2.4 on the 7-day. Now, let's look at the range of price. The range of price for XRP between 142 and 150 overnight. How about that? Tapping 150 and then bouncing back there. So we know that there's an area of resistance that we're in, right? And we need to get beyond all of this. So will the 4-day countdown to the markup vote get us there? Will we see a new all-time high for XRP? I don't know the answers. I'm asking the questions here. But you know what? I know we're all ready for it. But let's get into the news today, and we start right here. First of all, I could have never imagined that when we created XRP Las Vegas, first of all, for those of you that don't know, XRP Las Vegas started out, it was supposed to be a meetup from my private group, the DPMG. Shout out to my DPMG fam. I love all of them. It was supposed to be a meetup at a Panera Bread. So needless to say, things have gotten out of hand, right? And in the best way possible. But one of the things, and there are many things, but one of the things I could have never, ever imagined would be so amazing is the chance to meet so many other cool people and influencers in this space. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the one and only Mr. Man. And he told me he decided to reveal his identity at the conference because he had been using a mask prior to that. So shout out to him. And this guy brings, I mean, incredible research, incredible insights into this space. You know, I cover him all the time, along with so many others. Now, the only thing left for me to do is to meet Smoke Dog, Riz. I met Jay Blessed at the conference. Look, I met so many cool people, and I just love it. I could have never imagined that that would be one of the really cool things that could happen. And it doesn't happen just for me. It happens for so many people that come to this conference, not to mention all the incredible, incredible companies and the things they share on stage. So shout out to Mr. Man. It was such a pleasure to meet you. He sent me this picture because I was like, hey, man, you got that picture? I'd like to show everybody that I got a chance to meet you. So shout out to him and everybody that made XRP Las Vegas amazing. XRP 27 is already underway. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, oh boy. Oh, Michael Saylor's got a Bitcoin song. No, I don't want to play it because I don't know if he's cheap enough to copyright it. So I don't know. But what I do know is that Bitcoin doesn't need a song or a PR campaign. However, Bitcoin does need a U.S. strategic reserve. And Patrick J. Witt told us in the next several weeks or few weeks, we will find out what that looks like after the Clarity Act is passed. So the clock is ticking. But if there's anything I'm certain of, it is that Bitcoin needs to be added into a strategic reserve because it does not have or offer the utility that XRP and many, many other projects offer. So if it's going to do something great out here, it better get in a strategic reserve. The clock is ticking. And I also have Bitcoin in my IRA. So I'm going to need to know, right? Oh, by the way, IRAs, speaking of where I have my Bitcoin, I Trust Capital. Yes, you can get there too. All you got to do is click the link underneath the video and join. You can get your access to all the different offerings they have, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to love it. So try itrustcapital.com/go/XRP Army, or just click that link underneath the video and get started today. You're going to love the power that you get in your back office. I absolutely do. Then here, banks want a monopoly. Shocker, right? I know none of you are surprised. I'm not surprised either, right? So here we are. The banks want a monopoly. Don't let them have it past the Clarity Act. Banking groups are pushing last-minute changes to a stablecoin yield compromise as the Senate takes up a landmark digital asset bill per Bloomberg. Look, I can only hope, as I know most of you are too, if not all of you, I can only hope that them pushing for this monopoly, because that's what they want, I hope it is absolutely infuriating the people who have stood beside them, like Senator Tom Tillis and others. So let's hope that at this point, they're getting so upset about the banks demanding this monopoly on yield and rewards that they just finally tell them to sit down, shut up, this is happening. Because honestly, they're going to fight and scream and kick all the way to the finish line. And that finish line, as a reminder, again, is Thursday, May 14th at 10:30 a.m. It all begins. This is the final window of opportunity. Tell your senator pass the Clarity Act for America's future. Shout out to Crypto Law and Kevin and everybody over there doing great work. And they are absolutely right. As I've shared too, call your local senator. I've done it. I've called, left a message. I've done it for Senator Alsobrooks and others. So make sure you do that. Now let's keep going here, because who's who in this lineup? Well, here's key Democrats on the Senate Banking Committee. And you can see the little chart and the key on the side here. Green, 2 are flagged as constructive pro-framework. 4 are unknown opponents, or 4 are known opponents, excuse me. And the blue is 4 deal makers, and the yellow orange here is 1 mixed swing vote. So looking at this, Ruben Gallego here is constructive pro framework for Genius and digital asset subcommittee. So he's on board, right? Mark Warner can be back and forth. He did no to the SAB 121 rule. That was harmful. Should vote him out ultimately just for that, because that gave Gary Gensler more power, right? But he's heavy on the AML, right? But we get that too. He did vote yes for the Genius. And Angela also Brooks from Maryland here, constructive pro form, and obviously she's a co-sponsor of this bill. She's in, right? Catherine Cortez Masto here, a deal maker conditional. She did vote for the Genius Act, but was no to SAB 121. Got to vote her out ultimately on that. That's how I see this, right? You don't have to, but that's how I see it. And then we have a new senator, Andy Kim, who's deal maker, emerging, voted yes for Genius Act. Raphael Warnock here, also skeptical deal maker here, voted no for SAB 21, yes on Genius Act. Ultimately, anybody to me that voted for the SAB 121 to remain and not get rid of it, I don't know. You know, or maybe they voted no, and maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Maybe the SAB no was against Gary Gensler. However it goes, if they were for the SAB 121, they got to go. That's just how I see it. And then Lisa Blunt Rochester. So forgive me if I have that vote wrong, but if they voted no to keep it, that's a problem. And then you have the real problems down here. Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland, who should not be a senator and should not have been a senator for many, many years. He's a horrible representation for me in Maryland, I could tell you that. And this down the bottom with Tina Smith, Jack Reed, and yes, Senator Elizabeth Warren is the generals of your anti-crypto army. Vote them out, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to tell you, I will be sitting down with senatorial candidate John Deaton today to help him make his track and to beat Senator Markey in Massachusetts and get a senator that can make a difference in that seat up in Massachusetts. That's coming later today. You'll see that tomorrow, I'm sure. Let's keep this going. Where are we right now with Polymarket? One of the most accurate predictors of events, whether it be U.S. elections or anything else. Polymarket now gives the Clarity Act a 75% chance of being signed into law on the 26th, and they say it's up 10%. So, look, I don't track this thing 24 hours a day. I got to take their word for it, but I do know that these market polls, these prediction polls, are highly accurate. Highly accurate. So, way more accurate than the Rasmussen polls and other polls like that we've seen in the past. So, let's hope that that is going to be a very big step forward. Now, with that market structure bill, not only are banks concerned about maintaining their monopoly, but the SWIFTs are concerned. The DTCs have concerns. The ECB, right? The Fed and the IMF. We know they're all listed. They all have concerns, and some are embracing it at a much faster pace than others, like the DTCC. But I want you to hear what Eric Trump says when he calls SWIFT obsolete.
You think commodities are going to be traded on the SWIFT system, where again people's money is frozen out, you don't get interest on that money for 72 hours? Of course not. You know what that's going to do? It's all going to become digitized. And the banks have fought like hell to keep that from happening, and we've broken the banks. We've broken the banks because of everybody in this room and because we're right. And it's taken this much time, and now all of a sudden you see the institutional adoption that I started talking about before. Guys, we've won this race. I mean, we've already won this race. But the speed of which you're going to see growth over the next couple of years is going to be just monumental. And so
it is going to be monumental. And it also points to utility. And it also points to the fact of what I said in the opening of this video. If Bitcoin doesn't get a strategic reserve, as far as I'm concerned, it's in big trouble. But I would expect it to get a strategic reserve because I would expect them to use it as a great store of value, as a savings token. And then over time, it conflates very quickly in price because there's only 21 million. And then in time, they can use that to offset the debt of this country by doing a U.S. digital asset bond issuance for Bitcoin, XRP, and other assets that will be a core part of this financial system as we move into a new digital on-chain economy. It would be the best way to do this. I'm going on 2 years talking about this, I think, at this point. And I tell you, I don't know any other way that they could gather these assets the way that they would rare minerals or gold or oil without taxing the taxpayer, and that isn't a solution for the future there. But if you profit share through a digital asset bond issuance, just like wartime bonds back in World War II, I think you create a deep American patriotism and an ability for every American to benefit from these assets going forward. Meanwhile, we have outside factors that are playing a role on SWIFT and everyone else out here. So this is not just as simple as, well, we'd like to move to the technology, but, we don't know if we feel like it. The banks act this way, but the BRICS coalition already has a new payment system in place. And they're not against the US dollar. They're against the weaponized system that SWIFT has created with their sanctions and the United States being the head of that position, right? That's what's at stake here. So there are outside geopolitical forces that are already embracing this. We heard Secretary of State Marco Rubio say in 5 years, we won't be able to sanction anyone. And it is the realization and understanding that these protocols are waiting for no one. So you either get it, embrace it, and figure out how to move forward with it now, or it will innovate around you and you will be less powerful or more in control if you don't get prepared for that moment today. And there is where the force is. I don't need to play this clip. Y'all know about the BRICS coalition, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and multiple other nations at this point, which adds up to about 40 to 50% of the population and rare minerals and resources around the world. This is nothing to scoff at. This is a very real situation. And it all ties back into, I believe, how we come out of the Iran and Strait of Hormuz blockade ultimately. Remember, this month, there is a meeting with President Trump and President Xi from China. And I believe a lot of that will have to do with how we resolve and de-escalate the situation in the Strait of Hormuz so China can get back to getting their oil through there, right? We'll see how that goes. And I believe it will also lead to ushering in the introduction of these digital ledger technologies, these blockchain protocols like XRP Ledger and others to move value. I do believe that's coming right here. And it falls in line with the market structure bill that we're supposed to vote out of the committee this week. And they say if we get it out of committee, the floor vote will be a lot easier than the committee vote ever was. So fingers crossed on that. Here's a nice little reminder from Smoke Dog, who's another guy I'd like to meet at XRP Las Vegas someday or anywhere. This guy's incredible. So give him a follow if you haven't done it. Don't forget ISO 20022 plus Interledger Protocol plus Ripple all began in the same year, 2004. That's how long ISO 20022 has been around. That's how long Interledger Protocol and Ripple been around. Don't believe it. It's still true. This is Smoke Dog we're talking about. And isn't it interesting that all of this stuff has been developed and Interledger Protocol was donated, gifted to the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, which is the international standards body that oversees the internet worldwide, right? Yeah, big deal. It's a bit of a big deal, just like this is too. The reminder that we had the DTCC does 3.7 quadrillion a year, can tokenize 114 trillion plus without asking a soul. And Ripple Prime is a part of that netting process when we go forward and get the green light, the market structure bill, the green light, the bank charter, the Fed master account, and we're in there just like that. And we also know BNY Mellon does custody for Real USD and also tokenization service Ripple Prime, right? We're in the middle of this chain for this new experience, for this new innovation to be used. We are smack dab in the middle of all of this. How do you feel? And I want to hear in the comments, how do you feel about being involved smack dab in the middle of $3.7 quadrillion when you understand Ripple Prime was formerly Hidden Road and already did $3 trillion in settlement before even introducing one single digital asset, be it a stable coin or XRP? Pretty impressive, right? It's all in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. And make no mistake, Ripple Prime and the broader network and the DTCC, yes, the DTCC, the NSCC, where the Hidden Road is registered now as Ripple Prime. And yes, they are clearing credentials so they can put this institutional post-trade volumes directly to the XRP Ledger. Listen to the DTCC right here. Say it.
The vault, if you will, to open these assets up, you're taking the entire market and creating the ability to move it as opposed to doing it one by one. And I think that's the other difference that we provide. It's like,
yeah, that is the other difference you provide. Nobody else has access to trillions and trillions and trillions of products that they could tokenize without anybody's approval. But the DTC does, and I just told you we're smack dab in the middle of it. This is why legislation is so important. This is why the Fed master account is so important. This is why the national charter, bank charter is so important. Listen to Christian Carlo, who I was just on stage with, tell you right here that it's important. We're talking about quadrillions of dollars.
Here that we're talking about, but does that mean tokenization has officially moved from theory to infrastructure?
It does, Jeremy. Your audience may not be familiar with DTCC, that stands for the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, but it's effectively they run the plumbing of Wall Street.
Do we need to know anything else? It's the world's liquidity. That's why it's so important to get the back end built, the back end market infrastructure and the plumbing. Isn't that what Ripple has been focused on for more than a decade? Of course it is. Now we're down to legislation. Unknown DLT says DTCC will use XRP Ledger. We just saw proof of that. SWIFT will use the XRP Ledger. Fed will use the XRP Ledger. ECB will use the XRP Ledger. IMF will use the XRP Ledger. World Bank will use the XRP Ledger. And to use the XRP Ledger, you must use XRP. Let's effing go. You better believe it, Unknown DLT. And that got me thinking, over time in this near decade I've been in this space, I have seen everything phase in over time, right? Well, what would happen if we got 5% of all of these things? What if we got a 5% allocation of daily transactions from each of these entities, the DTCC, the SWIFT, the Fed, the ECB, the IMF, the World Bank, all of them? What if we got 5% flow? 5% flow phase in would put us right at about $1 trillion, just under, right? And it says it right down in here. I'll find it one quick second here. Right here. Liquidity depth to handle 978 billion a day, which is the 5% that I was asking it about, right? Brings the price somewhere between, it says $2 and $20, $5 and $50, and then it up here it even suggests I think it was $2 to $20, $160 to $16. Well, first of all, we've seen plus $2, and it wasn't being used by DTCC or any of these entities, right? So I think we got to go to the harder end of this thing. 16 to $20 is what I would think. So then I asked a more specific question. If XRP had a $1 trillion market cap, which 98 billion, whatever they said there, is close to 1 trillion, where would that put the price? $16.18. So $16 would put us right about at that market, about $1 trillion market cap, right? So that's pretty exciting because what do we see? Like Egg Crypto and them talk about $13, right? They talk about all of these things that we've talked about, right? Or whether it's even right here or JD talking about these things. Up in here, the $9 to $14 window, if we get it. That could put us somewhere just under $1 trillion market cap for XRP. And honestly, with all of these entities and understanding just the DTC alone, forget SWIFT for a second, forget the ECB, which we have a stable coin on the ledger, forget all of these things just for a second. And just think about the DTCC and the 3.7 quadrillion. Now, I'm not suggesting they're going to do a trillion market cap on the DTCC the first day. I'm not going to suggest that. But I am going to remind everybody that the pilot starts in July, and then the full launch of 114 trillion plus tokenization starts in October of this year. Now, would it be hard to believe that we could see that level surge to there? I don't have any idea. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. We are talking about a total size market capture of 3.7 quadrillion. Capturing 1 trillion at the DTCC is really nothing. And I know that that's an enormous number. But you could see very quickly how XRP could make its way to that $1 trillion market cap quickly and then maintain the price because it's a daily 24/7, 365. I personally can't wait for this moment just because I want to find out what happens when we get there. And number two, the other part of this is that not only do I want to find out what happens when we get there, but once we're there, we're talking about utility. We're not talking about $1 trillion market cap of speculation like Bitcoin's got. No. We're talking about 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 utility. The price floor comes up with utility. When you have the kind of level of utility that never leaves, you start to create a price floor for the asset. And that is one of the most important things that can happen, because ultimately my strategy long-term is to borrow against my assets at a very low percentage so I never get liquidated, buy things that have a return on investment with that borrowing, pay down the loan so I become my own bank, infinite banking, right? Or to be able to lend to someone and be able to earn a percentage back on that without the risk of myself losing my assets or my position for that. So that's where we are on this day, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't be more excited. We got the 4-day countdown going on. I want to shout out to each and every one of you. I want to ask each and every one of you to hit the like and subscribe before you get out of here. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else. And if you want to join the DPMG, ladies and gentlemen, well, let me tell you, the window is open and you are welcome to come on in. And I just want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to find out about portfolio creation, investor checklists, or groups and courses, or just a supportive community, some of the brightest people that have ever been in this space, they're in the DPMG. I can qualify and tell you that because I talk to them every week on a private call. And we are talking about the things that are most important, like lending, borrowing, and those things, and doing it in a way that is absolutely smart so we don't lose the hard work of our portfolio that we spent so many years building. You can join us too. Click that link for the digital asset or digital perspective mastermind group down in the description section. Just open up the more section and click the links and check out all the links down in there. You're going to love it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch all of you on the next one.
One of the biggest crypto weeks in history are happening right now. I would argue the financial legislation is one of the biggest pieces in the last 2 decades. And we got a couple of days left before it either hits a brick wall or, man, this thing starts to take off and it's like the Wright brothers all over again. And this time they don't land. Are we going to see generational lows for certain cryptos? I'm basically talking about XRP. In other words, are they going to do their job in DC? I'm curious to what you think down below. You guys know I'm following this super closer than anybody out there that I know of. And every day I got my ear down to the ground. I'm trying to listen to what's going on. I'm doing what I can do to help you out. And we got a lot of things to watch. Now, we've been on fire. We've been doing what we need to do. The calls have been perfect. And now we wait again, because it all comes down to Thursday. Everybody who saw yesterday's little mini push up in price, that was beautiful. Oh, it was so nice. What a good way to get a Mother's Day gift. Early afternoon yesterday, what do we see? We see XRP going from, where did we get? All the way down to 141. By early afternoon yesterday, we were all the way up to 150. Dude, that is exactly the kind of gift I love to see. Mrs. Mo was happy. Mrs. Mo was happy. Hopefully your missus or you were happy as well. And then, of course, it came back down. I told everybody during the early video that my goal to be happy would be to stay above the 147 mark. And if we could hold that, I felt good. We did not. It pushed down just like this. So you have a push up the 150 to 152 zone. That's your real nasty sell zone. Push back down. And where we want to break is 147. Get back. We did not. It's just an instant repeat right here is what you're seeing. And last time that did that, we hit the 13 and then we did bounce back up. So are we going to have the same thing? I don't know. This time, though, the 13 already is above the 50 EMA. So I will tell you, I believe this has legs. At this point, I do believe this has legs. What would tell me it doesn't is if this candle finishes underneath the 50 EMA. Right now, I'm feeling pretty good. You know how long it's been since we had the 50 EMA really change direction in a sustained method, not just one candle here. I'm talking sustained movement higher. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute, as the kiddos would say. And I'm feeling good about this. So we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you the 10 things you need to watch for this week. We got a lot of things happening. We got the markup vote on Thursday. Is it going to make it? Is it not? Is it going to be suspended because the banks win their rallying cry that, oh, the entire system's at risk? We all know it isn't because we already have yields and they're taking them away. And so shouldn't it even just get better from where it is right now? Common sense says yes. There's a lot of things we're watching for. Hey, got to tell you this, though. I'm going to be giving my Stockmo 6-pack today for everybody. You know, if you're in the earner plus tier or higher, get ready. Boom. Right there. First 3 links down below. Code Mo. We lowered everything. We got it so people, I had a lot of you reaching out to me. You wanted to get in. You sold the 259. We took care of it. Now you have the chance to get in. Oh, but hey, we got Code Mo to knock it down even more. 40% off of that. And if you're serious about wanting to do this for the long run with me, I'm talking years and decades, right here, the lifetime. That's your best bet. I do suggest getting in there. You're going to get all my research, all my plays, everything I'm doing, and more. And now we got the live teachers in there. They're teaching all kinds of stuff to traders, everything in here. This is easily one of the most powerful discords in the world when it comes to financial education, the learning and earning. Everything about it makes it one of the most powerful ones in the world, bar none. So if you guys want to get in there, I got the annual pass, the lifetime pass, and if you just want to check it out for a month, check out the monthly. But I'm telling you, once you're in there, you're going to want this lifetime. You're going to want this lifetime. Code Mo, M-O-E, will save you 40%. All right, let's talk business. Let's talk shop. As you can see, we're at the 73% mark for passing. Why isn't it higher? I told everybody once they announced the Clarity Act. So this is one that I did not hit. I told you once they announced the Clarity Act markup vote that we'd pop up to roughly 80%. We got up there to 74, 75. We didn't hit the 80% I thought we had hit. So I do want to apologize for that because my research thought we had hit 80 roughly. We went from low 40s, high 30s up to 74, but we didn't get to 80. The reasoning being because I did not take enough off of the last time they got burnt in January. Remember, they had that all scheduled, and all of a sudden Coinbase pulled their support. That's not the case this time. Coinbase is all in. They are all in on this thing. The crypto companies are pushing this to get done. Mark it up now. And that's what you're hearing. So we will see. But if the markup vote comes and we can get a bipartisan vote where you have a few Democrats voting with, and it might only be 2 or 3, voting with the Republicans on this to get it across the markup finish line so it goes to a full Senate floor vote, then I feel good. Then I feel like everything's the way it should be. And we should have a good chance. And so that's what we're looking at as a crypto investor in terms of this Thursday. But there's a few things you need to watch. The Tillis also Brooks compromise text. And you never know if the banks and everything they're doing, they're down there lobbying like there's no tomorrow right now. The banks have not stopped. They got people down there. And they're back in session finally. They're back in session today. They were not in session last week. So all the senators are coming back this week. And what a week to come back to. Could we get the end of the Iran-U.S. conflict? all the other conflicts? Could we have oil just crashing down in terms of the pricing? We could. And if we do, giddy up, because I think you would see crypto explode higher. But that's only if we get the end of the conflict. I can't tell you if that's going to happen or not. I've been telling you, though, that based on the elections and everything coming up, they want this thing done sooner than later. And if they can get this done, it takes something off the stove and makes a lot of room for, of course, crypto, the Clarity Act, passing this thing, getting it through everything. And man, crypto can just open its arms, smile, hug it like there's no tomorrow. I have told you before, everybody asked me, why didn't you stay in Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP in the pretty much equal weights? I decided a few months ago, and I still don't know if this was the right move. I don't know. As much as I believe it's the right move, the timing is going longer than I expected. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought this thing would be done in April. It did not happen. Now we're in May. And is it going to get done in May? I think so. At least this time we have the markup vote. So I thought we'd get done in April. It took a couple of extra weeks. I'm all right with that. That's how the government works. And I'm learning a lot about the government. Somebody tells you their best estimate, and then you have an election year, they're not going to get along. And that's just how it is. So now my opinion is, and this is strong, I feel pretty positive about this. This Clarity Act will benefit XRP a massive amount. Just to me, it stands out particularly that it benefits the most. The codification, equal footing with Bitcoin and Ethereum, like it's incredible. The codification of a commodity and the repeal of SAB 121 codified. Like there's so many things. The CFTC, the SEC split. It's just massive for Ripple / XRP. It sets the stage for a Ripple IPO down in the next 12 months. In my opinion, if I was on the board, I'd be talking about that. I'm sure they already have. And all of this benefits XRP. Now, at that point, we're waiting. Do we have Republican committee unity? Remember, Tim Scott said he didn't want to bring this thing to a vote unless he had that unity. I believe they do have that unity. I also believe they have a handful of moderate Democrats who are on board. Remember Tillis also Brooks? Remember that little compromise? That was between the aisles. They shook hands, got it done. It'd be weird for that compromise to get to that committee floor and then the Democrats say, I'm not going to vote for it. I'm not going to vote for the bill I made. And that's why working across the aisle works, because both sides get input into what they're trying to do. I should say the compromise on the stablecoin yield. DeFi exemptions and control. We got to watch this. This is still a little hot potato. You ever play hot potato? You throw the potato around to people. Now they got a game like that. It plays music and stuff. But keep the eye on the language. Decentralized finance, better known as DeFi. We're trying to take care of that traditional finance. The bill currently aims to exclude non-custodial software developers, validators, node operators from registration. You guys know I was going to set up some nodes here for the Ethereum network. I would not have to register, which is the right thing to have in this. Any attempt to tighten these definitions could trigger a war with the developer community right here and decentralized protocols. That just makes it worse. Like that would be, tell me you don't know crypto. Well, tell me you don't know crypto. Well, we need stricter DeFi. No, you don't know crypto. And that's something we're going to keep an eye on. I also have Treasurer Scott Bessent recently framed the Clarity Act as a national security priority. Remember I told you that this is a national security priority for about 6 months now? Every time I was coming on here, they must have heard my message. Do you want Saudi Arabia? I don't even know, wherever they want to be. Over there in China, you can have the EU, you can have Australia. It can be a lot of different countries or unions that end up being the most crypto friendly in the world. And do not think that businesses will not pick up and travel to those countries for tax breaks, for codification of laws, all that and more that benefit the industry. I'm telling you, they do it. They do it all the time. And that's one of the things that I watch. Is this going to end up in Singapore? I don't know. We'll find out how it goes. The fact that Coinbase flipped around, the fact that Brian Armstrong signals support for this bill is a massive win for the bill, for the Clarity Act markup vote. So you have crypto all on the side of getting this done. They should be spending to advertise that this needs done. Push it over the finish line. You got 200 million. I know it's for the elections. Start getting this thing done. This is a game changer. Once it's codified, we got some really, really interesting situations. That means that crypto can open the floodgates for institutional investments into the different products. And of course, new spot ETFs starting up. I'm going to guess XRP is going to benefit massively if we get a BlackRock. What do we get? BlackRock spot ETF for XRP. How big would that be? Oh, you guys all know. That's the big lion. I always say the big dog on the porch. Dude, that's like one of them dire wolves. Remember from Game of Thrones? They just made them alive again. I go, that's a whole different thing again. But that's like one of them things sitting up there with a bunch of dachshunds, you know, pugs. We had a pug. Oh, he was such a good dog. The White House numbers. The White House numbers. You know how the White House, the Council of Economic Advisors, the CEA, published their whole study on how much money was going to be lost from the banks and everything else for lending and everything else by allowing stablecoin yields. It was barely anything because they already have it. And of course, the banks hated that. Oh, they hated that. And they're coming up with their own findings and their own things they're doing. And they're battling. Oh, we could lose up to 20% of community banking loan lending opportunities and giving the ability to do it. I call that. I don't believe that for a minute. All right. You already had 5 to 6% that everybody can get now for years and years and years. They're taking that away. And so now you're going to say it's going to be worse than it is now? Let me just make sure I understand this. They're paying, because I'm getting it, like 6% in some of my accounts, and they're not going to be able to do that anymore. But you're saying, the banks, that if they're going to make it illegal for stablecoin yields to pay that high, any yields, on just letting it sit there. So I can't do that anymore. That takes that away from me. But you're saying after you take that away from me, it's only going to get worse? How? That's not how it works. You're taking it away. You codified it, your golden goose. Congrats, you won. But that's not enough. They got make it 4 days, today all the way up to Thursday, to get this done. Thursday, 10:30, it's go time. It is go time. They have to fight that, and we're going to see how it goes. But the SEC and the CFTC, they made friends. They might even move in. They put a ring on it. They're talking about moving into the same building down in D.C. That's pretty awesome. I've been down there. That's cool. We'll see how that goes. The Loomis clock. All right. What did she say? Said if this doesn't get done this year. Now I'm kind of on her side on this year. It doesn't get done to 2030. Now, what I mean by this, and you'll hear Senator Loomis say this, but I just want to expand on what I'm saying because I do agree with her. If it doesn't get done this year, it probably won't get done. And I say that because there's two ways it gets done. One, we have the whole bill get done by, July sometime. I believe it could get done. They got to work together. If they work together, anything can happen. I'm talking about the Democrats and Republicans. You think they're going to work together? Let me know down below. But here's the deal. If they don't work together, the Republicans can still get this attached as a skinny rider for most of the parts that everybody agrees on in a must-pass bill at the end of the year, defense spending, an omnibus of spending, all of it in November, December, in a lame duck session. Then people are willing to vote on it. That's how I thought. More likely than not, it was going to get passed. And it wasn't going to be the best in the world like we could have. Right now, they're trying to pass the best in the world. If they pass this, we are in everything I talked about today that we're watching, we get the best in the world. The United States is going to become the capital of the world for crypto because of the codification of these rules and laws and the CFTC and the SEC. I can't overstate how big this is. I mean, it opens up a lot of possibilities for institutions, pension funds, all these big investors to slow. It ain't going to happen like that. It's going to be a slow, steady trickle stream turning into a creek, into a river, into just a monsoon of investing. But it's going to take time because they want to see all this done. And of course, you got Kevin Warsh out there. Woo! Senate is moving on the confirmation of Kevin Warsh as the Fed chair. You know, when I grew up, I'll tell you guys a funny story. You guys can guess some of my nationality on my mom's side. I'd wash my clothes. I'd go out and wash my clothes, wash my my car. I'd wash it all. And then I went to college, and I didn't think anything of that. And that's how I said it. I'm going to go wash my car, whatever, you know. Anyways, going to go wash my hands. And I went to college where I went to college. I went to a great college, Shippensburg University. Yeah, good school on the Maryland border in Pennsylvania. And down there, I walked my first couple of weeks. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I'm a big, tall, big guy. And in saying that, I walked around and a couple of people. Finally, somebody came up to me and they're like, dude, where are you from? And most of the people down there from the outskirts of Philly, down there near where the school was,
Well, guys, thanks for joining. And of course, it's your main man, BTM, signing out. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the Clarity Act and the updates from XRP. So, all right, XRP holders, here's the final breakdown. Fact number one, Dubai is moving forward with crypto payments and government services fees through crypto.com. This is real adoption, but official word doesn't say XRP specifically. Fact number two, Ripple and Securitize enabled RLUSD functionality for BlackRock's BUIDL and VanEck VBILL tokenized funds, and Securitize is integrating with the XRP Ledger, and that is real institutional tokenization connection. Fun fact number three, XRP is testing the breakout zone, $1.45 and $1.50. If it holds, bulls get momentum. If it rejects, support matters. So the headline's spicy, but the deeper story is even better. XRP is sitting at the intersection of crypto payments, stablecoin, tokenization, treasuries, government adoption, and institutional rails. If you get value from the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with one XRP holders who needs to hear the facts before they get attacked by thumbnails screaming XRP to 10,000 by lunch. But as always, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. It's your main man, BTM, signing out. Don't forget to sign up for the BTM Crypto News Network. And peace and hair grease. Miners out.